Hey YouTube, this is PrimetimePokemon. In this video, I'll be doing some Pokemon TCG online gameplay. I'll be battling with the 12th place deck from the Atlantic City Regional Championships this past September 28th. It would be a Naganadel Quagsire deck. I am very excited to play this deck. It is a little bit different than some of the more popular decks out there, and I do like the fact that Keldeo GX can prevent other GX Pokemon from attacking. So I'll head on over to the TCG online, show the deck checklist, as well as provide the general strategy, and then get into battling. Here is a look at the deck checklist that I'll be using for this video. General strategy with this deck is to accelerate energy from your discard pile into play using Naganadel. 4 copies of this card charging up is the ability that allows you to do this. And then get 1 Quagsire set up so that you can move as many water energy as you'd like to your active Pokemon. Quagsire is a decent attacker with Hydro Pump. Lugia GX can do a fair amount of damage. Lost Purge GX is a very interesting attack. It can win you the game if your opponent does not have any bench Pokemon. And then I would say the primary attacker here would be Keldeo GX. Its ability prevents GX Pokemon from attacking, and then Sonic Edge can practically hit every single time, no matter what effect your opponent's Pokemon may have. And then one other very good card in this deck would be Volcanion Prism Star. Its ability makes your opponent switch out their active Pokemon. As far as the other cards go, 2 copies of Reset Stamp, which can come in handy, especially later in games. Ultra Space is used to get Poipole and Naganadel set up, and then Viridian Forest is a great way to get energy cards into your discard pile. 11 water energy in this deck, and the best thing to do is just get as many energy into play as possible. So let's head on over to Versus, see what's out there. One thing with this deck, it really can't do that much damage when attacking, but you can really switch whatever Pokemon you'd like into the active Pokemon spot and attack with that Pokemon. Searching for an opponent here, this deck would be especially good against something like a fire type deck, which I may be facing here. I did win the coin flip. I'll go first. With all the evolution Pokemon in this list, you want to get those set up very quickly. Looks like I'll have no choice but to put Poipole into the active. The most important thing here is to get Quagsire set up. Not much I can do here. May use the Pokemon Communication turn 1 to go and get something. I will put the U-turn born on Poipole. What can Audino do? It allows you to draw a card. I will use the Pokemon Communication to go and get a Wooper. It's also a good time to look at what's in your deck and see what's prized. I am going to get a water energy into play, and then I will use Cynthia. I'll just continue to get some Pokemon set up on the bench. I think I am going to go and get Keldeo right here. 2 copies of that one. Volcanion would also be good, but my opponent does not have any bench Pokemon. Another option would have been to save that Pokemon Communication and put Quagsire into play next turn. Let's see what happens with Pokegear 3.0. No valid cards, so I am in some trouble next turn. Hopefully I will top deck something good. Who knows, maybe my opponent will use Reset Stamp on me. That would help me out. Sometimes turn 1, a player just wants to get as many cards out of their hand as possible to use the Lily to get 8 total cards. They're using Pokemon Communication. There's a Victini. There's a Vulpix. They do have a Heat Factory Prism Star. I'll be able to discard that next turn and get at least one Naganadel in play. No energy in the discard pile yet. There's a Dedenne. They're going to use its ability to draw 6 new cards, discard their hand. Cherish Ball, so the more GX in play, the better. There is the Reshiram and Charizard GX. I could just retreat the Poipole for the Keldeo right away next turn. There's a Turtonator. That will work very well. So at least they're not relying on GX. So they're going to draw one more card. Are they going to put any energy in play? They're going to switch into another Audino and use the ability again. Does this have to be in the active? Yes, it does. They're going to use Welder. If I could use 2 custom catchers, I could knock this out fairly quickly. So there's a Naganadel. It really won't do too much. There we go. And then I can go like so and get another Naganadel out there. Probably should have waited with the Keldeo. With that being said, I am going to retreat for the Keldeo. What does this do? Discard any amount of fire energy from your Pokemon. This attack does 50 damage for each card you discarded in this way. So assuming my opponent does not have a switch in hand, it can only do 150. So it won't be able to knock out Keldeo. I will attach an energy to it, and that is really all that I can do. So I am stuck a little bit. No cards in my hand. And the past is always 20/20. You know what to do in the past now that you've already made a few plays. I still couldn't have done too much if I would have had Quagsire set up. I only have 2 energy in play right now. Keldeo requires 3, so if they're able to use Welder and draw into a switch, that is a knockout on Keldeo GX. So continuing to use the ability Hearing on Audino. They could just attach from hand to Audino and then use Welder on the Turtonator. They'd get 2 prize cards, and that is what they're going to do. At least 1 energy they'll put on Turtonator. So there is the knockout, an easy knockout. That is a bit disappointing. I should have known better than to put Keldeo into the active, but I didn't want to lose the energy acceleration with Naganadel. I will go ahead and put this Naganadel in the active. Since I can retreat it, I can use charging up twice. I'll have to use the custom catcher for its drawing ability. So I am going to put one there. I will use the custom catcher. There is the Quagsire. Pretty much a perfect draw there. Put another Wooper on the bench and see what I can get with Cynthia. So some water energy. The most I can do here, this attack does 20 more damage times the amount of water energy attached to this Pokemon. So I can do 120. I should be able to knock out Turtonator with the Quagsire. So I can retreat for the Quagsire. Attach an energy here. And then use the washout with this energy. There we go. Anything else that I can do? I'll go and get another Poipole. Lugia and then Keldeo, the last spot here that I'd really want to save. Not necessary to use the Pokegear 3.0. I'll just have to use Hydro Pump. Get the knockout. Let's see what I get for a prize card. My opponent really doesn't have, there's the Lugia I was talking about. My opponent doesn't have anything set up on their bench. So this card's ability is similar to what Volcanion can do. And it might be worth it to try and get that Volcanion Prism Star on the bench. My opponent isn't relying on their Reshiram and Charizard so far. So Keldeo really wouldn't have any use. It can only do 110. There is a Giant Hearth. This works very well with the ability on Ninetales. Keldeo GX really doesn't have much use as an attacker, so there is a Reshiram and Charizard GX. I am getting very close to being able to knock out Heatran, for example, pretty quickly. 130, so it needs one more energy. There it is, and then Quagsire will be knocked out, unfortunately. Should be able to get another Quagsire set up and accelerate some energy back into play. So I'm going to see what I can do here. Boy, oh boy, 3 Naganadel. So I can use charging up several times, 3 times to be exact. So I can get the knockout if I can get a Quagsire into play. Definitely have a shot at that. May put Lugia on the bench. Still can't use the Erica's Hospitality. That's what I want to use. So I will put energy on there. And now I can use the Erica's Hospitality. Pokemon Communication. I did get the Pokemon Communication, so I'll be able to exchange. I'll do the Wooper. And I'll go and get a Quagsire. So we will be even when it comes to prize cards. The Naganadel can do 160 then. I'll put down the Ditto just to be safe. And then I will use the Washout. There's 1. And then there is 2. That's really all it needs. And that is done. I believe this has a weakness. It does, so it should do 120 times 2, 240. I'd like to get this out of here. Now I can use it to discard some energy, accelerate those back into play with Naganadel. So it is looking pretty good right now. I'll use Hydro Pump, get the knockout, go down to 3 prize cards. There's 1. There's another Quagsire. Excellent. And then a Water Energy. So I will evolve that Ditto into Quagsire. Would like to get Volcanion Prism Star on my bench. Maybe they would rotate up a Keldeo GX or possibly the Vulpix. Quagsire does have a great ability. Unfortunately, there just isn't a very powerful water type attacker out there. Now, Victini, how much damage can it do? 20 damage times the number of fire energy, so it can do major damage. I'll be able to get, I believe, should be able to get Quagsire set up again. So it will be 2-2 again when it comes to prize cards. So I want to use charging up a few times. Plenty of energy in the discard pile. What this move does is it does put all those fire energy cards back into the deck. How many Welder has my opponent used? 3. I'm assuming they have 4. I would like to be able to go and get another Wooper if possible. I do have 2 of them. So I think I am going to use the Cynthia. That is all I can do there. How many energy do I have? 1 left, so I am going to use the Viridian Forest right now. Shuffle that back in with Cynthia. Hoping for a Pokemon Communication or a Wooper. There's the Wooper. And I am going to use Reset Stamp on my opponent. Get them down to 2 cards. I'm sure they'll put Audino back into the active Pokemon spot when I knock out the Victini. There we go. That is done. And then I will use Hydro Pump for the knockout. Get down to 2 prize cards. There's another Water Energy. Mysterious Treasure will also let me discard a Water Energy. So it is looking pretty good right now. If I could get the Lugia GX out there, I can do 170. It requires 4 energy cards to attack. So if I was able to bring up the Dedenne GX, do 170 with Lugia, I would be able to win the game. Advantage on my side is that I do not have any GX Pokemon in play. So they are going to switch up something, I believe. Do I get to choose or do they? They must be able to choose, that's alright. Not much there. There is a Keldeo. This attack does 50 damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And then it does do 110. So I think I am going to actually put that up there and use its attack that does 110. So I'm going to retreat for Keldeo, use Charging Up as many times as I can. 3 times. And I know if I was facing the deck that I'm using, I would try and knock out Naganadel as quickly as possible, especially at this point with so many energy cards in play and in the discard pile. So I am going to use Washout. 1, 2, and 3. And then here, it actually does do major damage. Hit done for now. Use the Viridian Forest. Just like so. And then I can use Lily. 16 cards left in my deck. There's another Reset Stamp. My opponent only has 1 card in their hand. So I am going to use Sonic Edge. I should get the knockout, 110. Go down to 1 prize card. Now, the disadvantage with putting Keldeo into the active is if my opponent somehow gets a Pokemon set up, and they do not. So they're just giving up there. I can take the knockout right here and win the game. So 110 will get the knockout. There is a win. Game 1. I'll go for 1 more battle just to see what's out there. But that is exactly how the deck is supposed to work. Get lots of energy in the discard pile. And then accelerate those energy cards into play. And then onto the active Pokemon. So I think 1 more battle. Was able to level up. Was able to get some Pokemon coins. I've been spending a lot of them lately. I'll take another water type challenge. Win streak of 2. I think the highest win streak I've ever been on was something like 14. And that was with the Greens, Reshiram, and Charizard GX. That was the deck that I brought to the League Cup. I didn't record that event at all, but I did win it. I was able to get one of those champion playmats. Pretty cool. Wasn't planning on winning the League Cup. Actually was recovering from bronchitis at the time. So wasn't feeling that confident. Some fire in this deck as well. Maybe this is a heavier GX based deck. I'll be able to utilize Keldeo GX more. If not, I did get a victory early on. I will put out probably the Poipole. I am going second. Potentially, I'll look at my face down prize cards. I do want to get Wooper set up. When you're going second, you want to get your Pokemon into play. When you're going first, you can just do that when it's your actual turn. So this is a Blacephalon GX deck. Keldeo should help quite a bit. Blacephalon can do 50 damage for each fire energy you move to the lost zone. Blacephalon is weak to water-type Pokemon. There's Ultra Space. That will help me as well. Would like to Pokegear 3.0 into either Erica's Hospitality or Lily, since this is turn 1. I'll use the Ultra Space and then put Viridian Forest out there. They're using Welder onto the Blacephalon. Just one energy they were able to get on it. There's a Cherish Ball. Are they going to get another Blacephalon GX out there? Looks like it. So I need to get Keldeo into the active Pokemon spot, that is for sure. Preventing GX Pokemon from attacking. Blacephalon GX, I believe, can still use Burst GX. I'll have to actually read the ability on Keldeo a little bit better. So I'm going to use the Ultra Space, get a Poipole out there. Naganadel GX will allow you to draw more cards, similar to what Zoroark GX and Trade can do. I am going to put Viridian Forest out there. Get a Water Energy into the discard. There we go. I will put a Water Energy on Poipole. Use Pokegear 3.0, and then I will use Cynthia. That's very helpful. Hopefully I will draw into a Keldeo. If I do, I may just put that in the active Pokemon spot, retreating Poipole. Definitely have a chance at that. I want to keep Quagsire in my hand, so I think I am going to put another Water Energy in the discard, and then go and get a Poipole. And then I'm going to use the Pokemon Communication to go and get Keldeo GX. If I have one, and I do. 3 in the deck. That is exactly how many I have in this list, so no Keldeo GX have been prized. So let's see what its ability says. Prevent all effects of attacks, including damage, done to this Pokemon by your opponent's Pokemon GX or EX. So Blacephalon GX can still use Burst, but other than that it can't do any damage. So I am going to retreat for Keldeo. Get another energy card into the discard. Erica's Hospitality will be excellent next turn, or I could use Ultra Space and get Naganadel out there. I am going to pass to my opponent. So this game is more of a defensive type of game using Keldeo. Let's see what I can do. There is the Naganadel GX, Ultra Conversion. Now they can use Venom Shot. Depends on if they have any Psychic Energy or not. Welder. Where are they going to Welder? They are going to Welder onto Naganadel, so I may want to try and knock out this one. Volcanion Prism Star will come in handy. Are they going to use Burst GX? I would assume so. They're using Charging Up to accelerate energy into play, just like I will be. So Bursting Burn does nothing. Maybe they'll end the game right there. Become frustrated. So there's a Quagsire. I do need... I'm going to discard the Wooper. I'm going to get a Water Energy. Put it on Keldeo. And then I am going to put Ultra Space out there just to get at least one Naganadel, and then I will use the Erica's Hospitality for 4. I need one more energy to be able to attack with Keldeo. So let's see what happens with Erica's Hospitality. did get it. So I needed the Naganadel, and then I can accelerate that. Charging up. Quagsire, wash out. 1 and 2. I'll have to read Sonic Edge one more time. This attack's damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So I should be able to knock out Blacephalon because it is weak to Water-type Pokemon. Sometimes the online TCG has some issues. So Sonic Edge should give me the knockout. It does. So I'm assuming that my opponent is going to try and attack with Naganadel. Volcanion Prism Star is excellent. Another good way to get water energy into the discard pile. Right now I'm feeling pretty confident. If my opponent would use Reset Stamp, not so much. As soon as I can knock this out, and they do have the Turtonator here from Dragon Majesty, that will be a problem. So they do have a solution to decks like the one they're facing. They can do 80 damage with Turning Point. Now are they going to try and... Nope, they're just using the one custom catcher just to get more energy into their hand. Ultra Conversion allows them to draw 3 more cards if they discard an Ultra Beast. Ideally, I would switch up one of these two GX and just get 2 more prize cards and then do the same thing one more time. So I am going to put that Volcanion Prism Star and then get a knockout for sure from one of my opponent's bench Pokemon, depending on what they want to put down. If they put that Poipole on the bench, I'm sure they will put that out there. So I may just want to knock out the Naganadel right now. It really depends on what they do. I want to get more water energy into play, that is for sure. So Heat Factory Prism Star, similar to the first game. My opponent has a large hand. Reset Stamp really won't do too much. I'm thinking they probably have at least one welder. So luckily that isn't halfway, so Keldeo is okay right now. So let's use Charging Up, just the one time. I could use Cynthia. I do want to get that one, and I will get Wooper out there. Get an energy on, it really doesn't matter, Naganadel, just to get it out there. And then I will use Cynthia, hoping to draw into a Stadium card. Didn't get it. That's alright. Do have the Quagsire for next turn. I think I am going to... Should I knock out... That is the question. Should I knock out Naganadel? I think so. Here, Turtonator could get the knockout. I'd be at 3 prize cards, so this Naganadel could do 160. I think that is what I'm going to do. So I am going to just knock out Naganadel, my opponent's active Pokemon right now. And that is really all that I can do. Sonic Edge for now. And that only does 110. I was thinking about using the GX attack, so that was a mistake there. But it could be an advantage for me just because Naganadel really can't do any more damage, and they are going to retreat. That was a misplay on my part. I was thinking too far ahead, and they do have a B string. Where are they going to accelerate energy? To the Naganadel GX. They're going to use Venom Shot and knock out one of my bench Pokemon, I would assume. So that was a pretty bad misplay. I was thinking too far ahead. But that is why you practice on the online TCG, so when you get to League Cups, you'll know better. I know when I went to the League Cup in the qualifying rounds, I actually jumped the gun, wasted 2 custom catchers trying to knock out, I believe, a Rowlet and a Alolan Executor GX. And that card had a Weakness Guard energy on it, so I could not knock it out. So here is a knockout, I believe. depending on how many energy they want to discard. So that was a mistake, unfortunately. I will more than likely accelerate Quagsire into the active to get the knockout. My opponent has 4 prize cards, so still quite a while until they can win the game. I want to get as many energy into play here. Probably put the Ditto as well. Maybe try and find another Keldeo. So I am going to attach an energy there. I will knock out the Turtonator. 2 Quagsire set up, which is very good. I'll use the Erica's Hospitality. Wouldn't mind a reset stamp now. Here is the question. I could potentially knock out a Blacephalon GX. I can't knock out the Naganadel. I can't do 210 damage, I don't believe. What does this do? 20 more damage times the amount of water energy. So I would have 4. I would need a lot more energy than I have to be able to knock out Naganadel GX. So I think I am going to just knock out the Turtonator. So I will have to use Washout. 1 and 2. Pokemon Communication. I am going to get another Keldeo out there. With that being said, I could have done that already. Get rid of that. I'm going to go and get a Keldeo. If I really wanted to, I could put the Lugia GX out there and then move the Naganadel GX to the Lost Zone. That would actually be a big advantage. Now, just thinking about the HP on Keldeo, I should have kept Keldeo in my hand because Naganadel can actually knock out Keldeo in one attack with Venom Shot because it can do 170. So that was a mistake again. Lots of misplays this turn. I don't know what's happening. That is for sure. I might just get the knockout on the Blacephalon. Go down to 2 prize cards. Let's see what I can do. I would need 50 damage for each. So I am going to, can I retreat it? I am going to do that. Actually cancel that first. Put this on there. Then I am going to retreat. I'm going to try and knock out the Naganadel is what I'm going to do. And that would be 200 damage, unfortunately. Because it's the benched Pokemon, is that correct? This attack does 50 damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And this, I do not believe that Keldeo will take the damage. So now I can move the 110, do the 110 with Keldeo. So I think I'm coming out all right. Just, my mind is pretty flustered making that misplay a couple of times. But that is okay. Can't use charging up at all. I have the custom catcher, so I am set here. Should get the knockout there. Go down to 3 prize cards. Naganadel can do 160. Cynthia helps. I just don't believe that Venom Shot will work. I don't believe so. On Keldeo. It's alright if they knock out one of my bench Pokemon. So let's see. I'm sure my opponent will try it. There's a Hapu. My opponent does not have any lightning energy, so they are going to use Venom Shot. Personally, I would knock out... They're going to get more energy into play. And they will be down to 3 prize cards, so it can do 160 with Naganadel if they get a knockout on one of my bench Pokemon. Let's see. They're going to use Custom Catcher. They're going to use 2 of them. Now I'll be able to tell if Keldeo's ability works from the bench. The way I read it, it does. And it does. Nice. My opponent did not know that. That is excellent. I still don't believe that I can knock out, and my opponent may be just forfeiting there, a misplay by them. That is what I am thinking, and that does look to be the case. So that is another reason why you have to go out there and battle certain Pokemon. You'd know the ability on Keldeo works on the bench as well. So I think I will conclude this video going 2-0. It should have been a little bit better of battle the second game, but again, that is why you talk through all of the moves that you make, and then you also practice going through multiple games on the online TCG. So I can show the deck checklist one more time, and Keldeo GX definitely helped me win that game. My opponent relied on GX attackers for the most part. So here is a look at the deck checklist again. Really didn't utilize the ability on Volcanion much. Quagsire, of course, came in handy quite a bit with its washout ability. So I think that will conclude this video. Thanks everyone for watching. As always, before you go, make sure to check out all the links in the description of this video, including links to my blog, Facebook, and Twitter pages. So thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.